Part 1. The first debt I never made. I never thought I'd be the kind of person who checks their credit score obsessively. But after what my sister did, I started doing it almost every week, sometimes daily, just to make sure my life hadn't been hijacked again. It started with a phone call. Not from her, from a collections agency. Hi, is this Mr. Brandon Marks? Speaking. We're calling regarding a delinquent balance on your American Rewards Platinum card. We've sent multiple notices. Your current balance is $3,247.51. And payment is overdue by 91 days. Would you like to resolve this today? I actually laughed. I don't own any American Rewards card. I didn't even have more than one credit card, and it had a low limit I barely touched. You've got the wrong person, I said. I don't have that card. She paused. This is the address we have on file, she said, and read out my address. She had my full name, my social security number, my birthday. I went cold. The woman tried to explain the situation, but my brain was already spiraling. Had someone stolen my identity? How did they get my information? I ended the call, hung up, and sat at my kitchen table, staring into nothing for a full 5 minutes. Then I pulled out my laptop and logged into creditkarma.fornewaccounts.all. Opened in the last 6 months. All maxed out, all in my name. I clicked on each one. Macy's, Capital One, American Rewards. An online furniture store. All charging interest. All in collections. I felt sick. I hadn't applied for a single one of GM. I called Equifax and initiated a fraud alert. They advised me to file a police report. That's when I realized I needed to know more. Who could have done this? I live alone. I'm careful. I shred mail. I use strong passwords. No one else has access to my files, except I stopped. No, it. Couldn't be her. My sister, Jenna, had stayed with me for a few weeks the previous fall after breaking up with her boyfriend. She was a mess at the time, crying, angry, blaming everyone but herself for the breakup. She moved out just before Christmas after a screaming match over how she wasn't freeloading. Despite not having a job, she'd left in tears. We hadn't talked much since that. Could she have done this? Could Jenna, my sister, my only sibling, have opened credit cards in my name? It didn't make sense, but also, it did. Jenna had always been reckless with money. She borrowed and forgot to return. She maxed out our parents' emergency card when she was 20. She even lied once about paying a speeding ticket I spotted on her windshield. I didn't want to believe it. But it was the only thing that made sense. The confrontation, I didn't call her right away. Instead, I gathered documents, screenshots of my credit report, the addresses used, the email tied to one of the accounts. It wasn't mine, but the recovery phone number, it matched hers. I felt like I couldn't breathe. That night, I drove to her apartment. She opened the door looking surprised, then wary. Brandon? What's wrong? I held up the manila folder I'd brought with me. You want to explain why there are 4 credit cards in my name that I didn't open? Her face changed instantly from confusion to guilt to anger. I don't know what you're talking about. I pushed past her and walked into her living room. Really? Because the recovery number on one of them is yours. And the delivery address for the Macy's card? That was your apartment back in December. Same zip code. Same handwriting, Jenna. She stood there frozen, eyes darting, like a child caught stealing. Then, unbelievably, she snapped. Okay, fine. I messed up. But it's not like I used it to buy drugs or something. I needed help, and you weren't there. You stole my identity. I shouted. That's a felony. I'm your sister, she cried. I was desperate. You live alone, you make good money, you wouldn't even notice a few charges. I was gonna pay it back. You're 3 months late, I yelled. And now I have debt collectors threatening me. Her voice trembled. I didn't think it'd get that bad. I sat down hard on the edge of her couch, head spinning. I felt betrayed, like someone had reached inside me and pulled out my spine. This could destroy my credit. Sad. I can't get a mortgage now. I could get denied for jobs. Do you even understand what you've done? She started crying. I was scared to tell you. And so your plan was to do nothing. She didn't answer. That night, I drove home in silence. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I filed the police report the next morning. Yes, on my own. Sister, I didn't see another option. Part two. The family turns against me. Filing. The police report was one of the hardest things I've ever done. Not because I didn't think she deserved it. She absolutely did, because I knew what it meant. It meant crossing a line. It meant telling the world, yes, my sister is a criminal. Yes, she hurt me. And no, I'm not going to cover for her anymore. The officer taking my statement was kind but firm. He asked all the right questions. When I noticed the fraud, what evidence I had, who I suspected, I gave him everything. Credit reports, copies of the applications, the screenshots showing her phone number linked to one of the accounts. Do you want to press charges? He asked. I hesitated. Look, he said, identity theft is a serious crime. And you're not the first person to have a family member do this. It's awful, but it happens. The fact that you're reporting it tells me you're doing the right thing. I nodded. Yes, press charges. The fallout begins. I should have known Jenna wouldn't take it quietly. 2 days after the report was filed, my mother called me. Absolutely hysterical. Brandon, what did you do? Jenna just called. Me sobbing. She said the police came to her job and questioned her. In front of her manager, I gritted my teeth. Good, maybe now she understands this is real. Real? She's your sister? She committed a felony, Mom. She stole my identity and ran up thousands at. You want to see the credit? Reports? The bank statements? Because I can send them to you right now. But she wasn't listening. She was already deep in protect the family at all costs mode. She said she was going to pay you back. She said a lot of things, Mom. None of them true. You don't have to ruin her life over it. I laughed bitterly. Funny. That's exactly what she did to me. That night, I received 4 different texts from extended family members, 2 aunts, a cousin, and even my dad, who rarely got involved in anything. All saying the same thing in different words. You're taking it too far. Family forgives. She's going through a tough time. You're better than this. It was like they were reading from the same script Jenna had handed out. No. One asked if I was okay. No one acknowledged that I was the victim here. That my finances, my future, my trust were all shattered. Jenna had done something horrible. And somehow, I was the bad guy for not letting her get away with it. The spin then came the cherry on top. Jenna started twisting the story. She told people that it was all a misunderstanding. That I had given her permission to use my name just for a store card or 2 because her credit was shot. That I was only mad because she missed a couple payments. That she was trying to fix it, but I went nuclear and called the police. I started getting cold stares at family gatherings. A cousin uninvited me from their kid's birthday party. An uncle messaged me, look, I don't know what's going on between you two, but family drama doesn't belong in court. Fix it like grown-ups. The worst part? My parents believed her. Or maybe they wanted to. I sat them down one evening and showed them everything. The accounts, the phone number, the delivery address, the damage to my credit score, the unpaid balances. In my name my dad leaned back, sighed heavily, and said, she made a mistake. But did you really have to bring the cops into this? Yes, I said coldly. Because she's not 12, Dad. She's 29. And she didn't just borrow a sweater without asking. She committed fraud. She's your sister, my mom whispered. That means something. It meant something to me too, I snapped. Right up till she destroyed my life and tried to lie her way out of it. We didn't speak for a while after that. Thought legal moves. Meanwhile, the police investigation moved forward. Jenna was officially charged with fraudulent use of personal information and identity theft. Because the amount was under a certain threshold and it was her first offense, it was being handled in county court. She lawyered up, of course, and her attorney tried to reach out to me with a settlement offer. Jenna would pay back everything she owed in exchange for me dropping the charges. But here's the thing. It was never just about the money. She didn't just ruin my finances. She ruined trust. She made me feel like a fool. And she didn't come clean until she was backed into a legal corner. Her offer? A few $1,000s and an unsigned apology letter. No acknowledgement of what she put me through. No sincerity got my response. See you in court. The unexpected twist day week before the preliminary hearing, Jenna posted something on Facebook that made my blood boil. When your own brother would rather destroy you than help you, I guess money is more important than family to some people. The comments poured in. That's disgusting. You deserve better, Jenna. Hope karma gets him. And then, I kid you not, she started a GoFundMe to pay for legal fees due to a vengeful sibling. It raised almost $2,000 in 3 days. I wanted to scream. Not because of the money, but because I realized just how far she would go to control the narrative. She had weaponized social media, painted herself as the victim, and people were buying it, but I had a plan. I wasn't going to fight fire with fire. I was going to fight it with proof. I started gathering screenshots, messages, evidence of purchases made with the cards, ones she couldn't explain away, receipts, delivery addresses, even one store loyalty account tied to her email. I was building a case not just for the court, but for the court of public opinion too. Because if she wanted to make this messy, I was going to show the whole family exactly who she really was. And when I did, even my parents would have to face the truth. Part 3. I stopped being quiet. I never thought I'd become the kind of person who screens every family call. But after Jenna's smear campaign, I stopped answering unless I knew exactly who was on the other end, and even then, I braced myself for guilt trips. Her GoFundMe kept growing. People were commenting things like, "Hope your brother realizes blood is thicker than bank accounts. He needs to get over himself. We all make mistakes." She even posted a photo of herself with swollen eyes and a blanket wrapped around her, like she was the poster child for pity. Caption: Fighting this alone has been the hardest thing I've ever done. But I believe in truth. And I believe family always comes back together. That's when I snapped up the email I drafted in email. It took me 2 hours and a lot of edits. I sent it to every family member who had reached out to guilt me, including those who had donated to her fundraiser. The subject line was simple: You deserve to know the truth. I attached 5 PDF files, a copy of the police report screenshots of her credit card applications, showing my name, her phone email statements from the 4 maxed out cards, a chart showing how my credit score dropped. 130 points, a picture of the letter. Her lawyer sent offering to settle. Then I wrote, asterisk, hi all. I haven't responded to many of your calls or texts because, frankly, they've hurt deeply. I didn't want this to go public, but since Jenna made it public, here's what's really going on. Last fall, Jenna used my personal information to open multiple credit cards. She used them, maxed them out, and never told me. I discovered this fraud only when a debt collector called me. I filed a police report because this is identity theft punishable by law. It was not a misunderstanding. I did not give her permission. She has not apologized to me directly. She has only spun the story to make herself look like a victim. Attached is all the evidence. You can draw your own conclusions, but I will not let myself be painted as the villain for demanding accountability. This wasn't a mistake. It was a choice, and it's time we all stop pretending otherwise. Asterisk. Within 24 hours, I got more than a dozen responses. Some were short and stunned. I had no idea. I'm sorry. She told us something totally different. Wow. Just wow. A few apologized for assuming the worst. Even my aunt, who had donated $250 to Jenna, wrote back, Brandon, I'm horrified. I truly thought she was just struggling. I will be asking for a refund, and I'm sorry for what I said. But the most unexpected reply came from my father. He wrote, Son, your mom and I read everything. I can't tell you how hard it is to accept that your child would do something like this. But the facts are right there. And I'm ashamed we didn't believe you sooner. You did the right thing. We'll be talking to Jenna. It wasn't perfect, but it was something the court date are. Preliminary court appearance was set for a Thursday morning. Jenna looked like a ghost when she walked into the courtroom. She was wearing a gray blazer, hair pulled back tight, trying to look professional. Her lawyer stood tall and arrogant, acting like this was some petty dispute between squabbling siblings. I sat across from them with my own lawyer, hands clenched. Jaw tight, we didn't say a word to each other. When the judge asked if the prosecution had evidence, my lawyer handed over the full packet. He explained the timeline, the identity theft, the financial damage. I watched Jenna squirm as every detail came out, every card, every charge, every lie. Her lawyer tried to downplay it. She was in crisis. She believed she had her brother's consent. This is a family matter that should be handled privately. The judge cut him off. You're telling me she filled out 4 credit applications in her brother's name and maxed them out because she thought he said it was okay? Without a single text or signature? That's not a misunderstanding. That's fraud. I almost smiled. The judge ruled there was sufficient cause to move forward to trial. Jenna looked like she might faint. Outside the courtroom, I passed her, as she sat on a bench with her head in her hands. I stopped. I gave you a place to live. I trusted you, I said, voice low. She looked up at me with tears in her eyes. Brandon, I didn't know what else to do. You could have asked. She didn't answer. Rock bottom that night, my mother called again. This time, quieter, weary. She told us everything, she said. It was worse than we thought. I don't know what to do with her anymore. You don't have to do anything, I said. This is between me and the court now. She sniffled. Are you really going to let her have a record? She gave me a record, I said bitterly. One that'll follow me every time I apply for a loan or job. Why should she walk away clean? She's your sister. I was so tired of hearing that sentence. I sighed. Mom, she stopped being my sister the day she forged my name. But then a message the next day. I got an email from someone unexpected. Jenna's ex-boyfriend. We'd only met a few times before they broke up. But he wrote, Hey Brandon, I saw the post Jenna made and I didn't want to get involved, but then I saw your email circulating. Just wanted to say, she did something similar to me. Not with identity theft, but with lying about money. She ran up rent on my account and left without paying. Said she'd handle it. She didn't. She has a pattern. Just wanted you to know you're not alone. And just like that, everything clicked. Jenna wasn't just reckless. She was a serial manipulator. Part 4, the verdict and the ruins. The court date arrived faster than I expected. It was a warm spring morning, but I felt ice in my veins. Not fear. Exactly. More like anticipation of something irreversible. Jenna showed up looking small. Not physically. She was still the same tall, confident woman she'd always been. But something in her had collapsed. Her shoulders curved inward. Her eyes didn't scan the courtroom like they used to. She didn't even look at me. This was the final hearing. The DA was offering her a plea deal. If she pled guilty, she'd avoid jail time, but she'd have to pay restitution and carry a fraud conviction on her record. She didn't take it at first. Her lawyer argued again that this was a misunderstanding, that she had been struggling financially and emotionally, and that jail would only worsen her situation. That she had learned her lesson. The prosecutor calmly laid out the facts. Then I took the stand. I told the truth. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I told the story simply. My sister used my personal information to open 4 credit cards. She maxed them out. She never told me she forged my signature on at least 2 forms. I discovered it through debt collectors. She gaslit me when I confronted her. She told our family I was exaggerating, that I gave her permission. Then I said, what Jenna took from me wasn't just money or credit. She took my name, my integrity, and she tried to bury it under a lie so convincing that even our parents believed her. I'm here not out of vengeance, but because if I had done this to her, we all know where I'd be. Why should she be any different? The courtroom was dead silent. Even Jenna didn't raise her eyes. She cracked during the recess, before the judge returned with the verdict. something unexpected happened. Jenna walked over, unsteady, slow, like each step weighed more. Then the last, she stopped a few feet away. Her voice was barely audible. Brandon, I'm sorry. I blinked. I had imagined this moment 100 times. In most of those visions, I said something brutal, something that would make her feel what I had felt. But in real life, I just stared at her. I was scared, she said. I thought I could fix it before you found out. Then it got worse, and I didn't know how to stop. I made everything worse. I know that, and I'm sorry. I didn't speak dot not because I forgave her, but because, for the first time, I believe she meant it. The ruling the judge returned and delivered this sentence. Jenna was found guilty of identity fraud and forgery. She would not face jail time, but would be on supervised probation for 18 months, required to pay full restitution with monthly documentation, and would have a permanent fraud charge on her record. Her face crumpled when she heard the word permanent. That was what broke her, not the fine, not the process. But the fact that this label would follow her forever, the same way the debt had followed me. The Aftermath family didn't speak to me for a while, not out of malice, more like stunned silence. The truth had landed like a meteor. No one could deny it now. Even the most loyal relatives stopped defending her publicly. My mom emailed me weeks later. I don't know how we got here. I'm sorry we didn't listen to you. I just wanted to believe she wouldn't do something like that. I guess I didn't want to admit that my daughter could be cruel. I didn't reply. Not because I was angry, but because I didn't know what to say. I was tired, hollowed out. The battle was over, but it left ruins behind. I got my credit partially restored. I had to write letters, jump through hoops, show police reports. It took months. I still get weird looks from loan officers sometimes. The restitution came in, slowly. Jenna sent her first payment a month late. Her lawyer promised it wouldn't happen again. I didn't care about the money anymore. Not really. Then came the letter 6 months later. I got a handwritten letter from Jenna. No drama. No GoFundMe link. No spin dot, just words. Brandon, I don't expect this to fix anything, but I wanted you to have something real from me, not filtered through lawyers or family. I screwed up. I lied. I betrayed you. And I'm going to live with that forever. But I want you to know I'm trying to be better. I started working at a nonprofit that helps women rebuild after financial crises. I'm in therapy, and I'm not asking you to forgive me now. I just want you to know I've stopped pretending. Thank you for standing up for yourself. I wish I hadn't made it necessary. Jenna, I folded the letter and placed it in a drawer. Still haven't responded. Maybe one day. Epilogue. What family really means. People love to say family's everything. But here's what I've learned. Family isn't who shares your last name. It's who respects your name. Jenna broke that trust, and even though she might be on the path to redemption, I've learned that protecting yourself, even from people you love, isn't betrayal. It's survival. Part 5. The day I let go, about a year after the trial, I got a message from my cousin Claire, one of the few people in the family who never picked sides. She always kept her distance from drama, but this time she texted me something simple. You should come by this weekend. Just family. No tension. Jenna won't be there. I almost said no. I hadn't gone to a single family gathering in over a year. Every invite felt like a trap, a setup for awkward glances, forced apologies, or worse, that unbearable silence where no one says anything. But everyone knows, but I was tired of hiding. So I went. A different kind of reunion. It was just a backyard barbecue. Kids running around, folding chairs, potato salad, someone's dog barking nonstop. But people greeted me, genuinely. Uncles shook my hand. Aunts hugged me. No one brought up the trial or the scandal. No backhanded comments. Just ... Human warmth. Claire leaned over to me at one point and whispered, everyone knows the truth now. They just needed time to sit with it. That hit harder than I expected. Closure. In its own way, about a week later, I got another letter from Jenna. Not handwritten this time. Typed formal, almost like she wanted to keep a respectful distance, but still sincere. She wrote, I'm moving, found a small apartment upstate. I'm starting over. A new job, still doing nonprofit work. I'm not running from what I did, but I also don't want to live in it forever. You don't need to write back. I just wanted you to know I'm keeping my promise to change. I hope someday we can talk again, even just once as people, not as enemies. I'm sorry. Always. I sat with that letter for a long time. Did I forgive her? No, not fully. But I realized something. I wasn't angry anymore. Not the kind of anger that burns and keeps you awake at night. Just a dull ache. The kind that eventually fades into memory. The safe. The last thing I did before truly moving on was buy a new safe. Small. Fireproof. Code dash locked. Not. Just for my documents and credit statements. But to remind myself of one thing, trust is earned and protected. I keep her letter in there. The court records too, not out of spite, but because part of healing is remembering how far you've come. So where am I now? I've got a new apartment, smaller but quieter. I started dating again, carefully, slowly. I even applied for a mortgage pre-approval recently, and for the first time in a long time, my credit report came back clean. No red flags. No surprise debt. Just me, as I really am. Sometimes I wonder what Jenna's doing. If she kept that job. If she really stayed on the path she promised. I don't know. And I'm not sure I need to. Some stories don't end with a tearful hug or a dramatic reunion. Some end in peace. In silence. In a quiet understanding that it's over now. Final words if you've ever been betrayed by someone close. I mean, truly. Betrayed. The hardest part isn't the damage they caused. It's how much they changed the way you see the world. You question everyone. Every smile, every promise, every don't worry, I've got you. But here's what I've learned. You can rebuild bit by bit, statement by statement, boundary by boundary. You don't need revenge to feel whole. Sometimes you just need truth. And time, part 6. Some debts don't show on paper. It had been over a year since the trial. I'd stopped counting days, stopped checking my credit score every morning. The trauma had quieted down, not gone, not forgotten, but folded neatly into a corner of my life I didn't visit too often. That's why the voicemail threw me off. Hello. This is Angela from Century Banking Compliance Division. We're conducting a follow-up on a fraud case you were listed as a victim in involving account openings in your name. We'd appreciate a call back. I stared at my phone. Century Banking. That was one of the banks Jenna used. One of the ones that approved a $5,000 line of credit using nothing but a fake email and my stolen SSN. The second wave, I called them back, more out of curiosity than concern. Angela explained that they were now being investigated. A class action lawsuit had formed against them for negligence in identity verification. Apparently, my case had been flagged as part of a pattern, approving cards using easily forged information, leading to hundreds of fraud victims. They wanted me to submit a written statement. I almost said no. I was tired. Done. But then I thought about it. Maybe this wasn't just about Jenna. Maybe this was bigger. So I agreed. I gave them copies of my police report, court transcripts, even the screenshots I'd saved from Credit Karma. It didn't take long. Angela thanked me. Before we hung up, she said, "You're not alone. This happened to a lot of people. More than we realized." That sat with me. The Reddit post. That night, I opened Reddit. Not to browse memes or check news, but to post. I'd been lurking on subs like R Pro Revenge and R True Off My Chest for years, but I'd never shared my story. I wasn't even sure why now felt like the right time, but I wrote it anyway. The title came easy. My sister ruined my credit. Lead to our family and blame me. So I brought the truth to court. Then I just told everything. No exaggeration. No drama added. Just the facts, the pain, the letters, the courtrooms, the silence, the anger. The strange calm after all ended. I didn't expect much, but the post blew up. Thousands of upvotes. Hundreds of comments. People who had been through the same thing. People who said, I thought I was crazy. This happened to me too. People who told me I helped them feel seen. For the first time, I realized this story wasn't just mine. Uh, Stranger in a coffee shop a month later, I was in a downtown cafe, laptop open, headphones in, trying to finish up some work. A guy about my age walked up to me. He hesitated, then asked, "Are you Brandon?" I took out my earbuds. "Yeah?" He smiled nervously. "Sorry, this is weird. I saw your Reddit post. I recognized your name from the court case. My cousin had her identity stolen by her brother. Your story hit hard." I blinked. "Wow, that's insane." We talked for a few minutes. He told me about his cousin, how it wrecked her relationship with her whole family, how she never pressed charges and regretted it, how she still feels like a ghost in her own house. Before he left, he asked me something I'll never forget. "Do you think it was worth it?" The court, the fallout, the silence. I didn't answer right away. But then I said, it wasn't about revenge. It was about saying, this happened. I exist, and I didn't deserve it. So, yeah. I think it was worth it. He nodded. "Thank you." Then he walked out. The last debt I forgave Jenna still sends her restitution payments. They're small, sometimes late, but they arrive. I don't check them anymore. I just let them go where they go. I haven't written her again. But I did take her last letter out of the safe the other day. I read it slowly, not like someone searching for answers, more like someone rereading an old book, the kind that once hurt, but now just makes you sigh. She'd said she was sorry, that she was changing. I don't know if she ever fully did, but I've changed, and maybe that's what matters most. Closing the legit people think identity theft is about money dot. It's not dot. It's about feeling invisible in your own skin. It's about watching people who love you turn their heads because the lie is easier than the truth. But here's the truth I've learned. Some debts never show up on paper, but they can still be repaid with honesty, with time, with healing. And some people, you don't take them to court for revenge. You take them to court because you finally decided you matter more than their excuses. That was the day. I closed my last account with Jenna Dot and opened a new one in my own name, one I'll never let anyone touch again.